My name is Abhina Aher. I'm the transgender activist of India. A lot of people call us Hijras, Kinnars, lot of other names that you are aware about it. But today, I'm not going to talk about just my story, but I'm going to help you understand there's something that they don't teach you in the books. Even the biggest writers that write the books and talk about a lot of things doesn't know about this thing, because this is something which is hidden, right? This is like visibly invisible. So you have these people, but you don't want to associate it with them. The only thing that you have about these individuals are either you will have fear, either you will have a mystery, or either you will have a pity. That's the three things that not of transgenders people face in countries like India. So today I'm going to talk about the story about something that you are not aware about. So thank you so much, and I hope you have attention to me. Silence is something that came to me and a lot of transgender people, very naturally. Because the moment you try to talk about yourself, who you are and what you want to be, the first thing that the world wanted to tell you is remain silent. Because if you speak, then you will not be accepted in a society. You will not fit into the binary genders. You will either have to be identified yourself as a male or a female, or either you will not be accepted in a society, and you will be refrained from all the happiness that you can imagine. Imagine you are somebody who has dreams. And just now we saw the dreams in the pictures, right? What were we talking about? Marriage. And imagine somebody is born who cannot even think about having a marriage. How would that person would be feeling about it, right? And today I'm here because a lot of transgender people must be studying in a lot of your schools as well, colleges as well. And at the same time, we might be not knowing about them. So we are going to talk about their stories. What happened when I was born is that something that came to me naturally is what I was. I was a girl. And unfortunately, I was born in a wrong body. So the entire world were trying to find a man inside me, but I just knew that I'm a beautiful woman. I'm a beautiful girl. And I just knew it at the age of 6 years. I used to wear frocks. I used to play with dolls. I used to, I used to be a local Madhuri Dixit for all the neighborhood, to do Ek Do Teen. So, this was something which came to me naturally. But when I tried to express myself, when I tried to be who I want to be at that age, when I was cross-dressing, when my mom saw me, because I was raised by a single mother, she was shocked. She had a silence. She didn't know how to cope up with this kind of a child, because she thought that, oh my God, what has happened? Because a lot of people really pray to have a male child. And when you have a male child who's cross-dressing and dancing like a girl or behaving like a girl, how do you cope up with that? So what happened is that they were telling me that I am imperfect. They were telling me that I'm not fitting into this. But I was realizing that maybe I am perfect and I was born in a completely imperfect world. Why people were not being able to accept what I am, what came to me naturally? Nobody told me to wear frocks. Nobody told me to become a girl. But this was something that came to me quite naturally. And that's the story of today, is that when people stopped accepting me, what started was basically a journey of a silence. And that silence came right in the beginning of self-stigma. How many of you, कितने सारे लोग हैं यहाँ पे जिनको ऐसे लगता है कि they are not perfect? अच्छे नहीं, हम अच्छे नहीं दिखते, हमारा थोड़ा हाइट थोड़ा सा बड़ा होता तो अच्छा होता, हमारा थोड़ा कलर थोड़ा सा गोरा होता तो अच्छा होता है ना सब चीज़ को लेकर. Imagine when your existence is questions, like how much self-stigma that you will have inside your life. I never knew about what is difference between sexuality and gender. The first thing that my mother concept and had a conversation with me that, does that mean you are a hijra? Tum hijde ho kya? What will be your future? She started crying. She started banging her head on the wall. She's saying, Bhaiya, tumhara kya future hai? She's an actress. My mother was an actress. She was doing Marathi films. She was doing serials. And when she said, I have seen people like you and they don't have any future. They end up living alone. They end up dying alone. They end up having no peer support, and they end up having no love from their family members. And that's a harsh reality. And I said, yeah, but still who I am who I am. I've not been able to change myself because, I'm born this way. And many times when people do not understand about that, is that even a child could be only born with, like a male or a female. But a lot of people doesn't know that a child could be born with, a male genital, female genital, or could be a complex genitalia, which is called as intersex. A lot of people doesn't know about it, and a lot of transgender people are part of this entire bigger circle. Does that mean they're not competent to do sexual activity or have a sexual behavior? No, but they are born the way they are born, like that. So it is very important for us to understand the difference between sex, sexuality, and gender. And many times these things are not being taught in the schools. And that is the reason why people like me have faced immense stigma and harassment during my school days. I was bullied, I was raped, I was called a chakka, mamu, good manar के time. बोलते वक्त बहुत अच्छा लगता है. We get fun also. My God, I'm calling this person because this person is sissy, or this person is tomboyish. I want to name that person. I want to make that person bullied. Even my teachers could not support me because they did not know about what's going on with me. So when I was being attempted to rape and I was brought to my principal and my teachers, the people who were doing it, they said that we were just trying to correct his behavior because he's born as a male, he should be behaving like a man. Why is he behaving like a woman? That silenced me more because my educational institution was not been able to provide me support. I had no support system. I had no counseling centers. I had no support system for, and majority of transgender people drop out from the education, below 8, 10 standards. And many times we don't manage to talk about it. So what is the future for them? They're not going to end up in a marriage photography. They are going to end up begging on a signal. They are going to end up doing a commercial sex work. They are going to end up doing a badhai and toli. And a lot of people, again, going to look at them and going to smile and, laugh at them. The important part, what you need to understand, that, lot of people call us Vikrut, but we are not Vikrut. Vikruti evam Prakruti. What is it? Vikruti evam Prakruti. Whatever there in a Prakruti is a part of Prakriti, is a part of a nature. And this behavior is not only among the human, but this behavior is among animals, plants, and various other parts about it. So it is high time for us to educate our children, to educate our own babies, to create a support system so that no other trans person like me end up begging on a signal. I'm a postgraduate. I have done diploma from University of Washington. I'm a software engineer. And despite of them, 3 years of I was begging on a signal and I was doing a sex work. Nobody was willing to give me a job. And I did not have courage to go back to my mother and tell, hey, I don't have a job because I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning from a male body to a female body. I want to become a woman. And I don't have a choice because a lot of people, a lot of government officials are not accepting me who I am. And that stigma, that silence came to me quite naturally, and I struggle a lot. So a lot of the transgender people, many times when they are struggling, they go through this kind of an issue. But what you need to understand, why we are in this situation, why transgender people are being thrown out from their families, why they've been silenced, because we don't know our history. A lot of transgender people were also called as Kinners and Mai. When we talk about the pre-colonial part of India before the invasion of Turk and before the invasion of Britishers or French, we realized that transgender people were celebrated. They were kings and queens. They were part of the harems. The transgender, there was a 13th akhada of a transgender people who were considered above the 4 varnas, called as a Guru Mai. So we have a rich culture which a lot of people don't understand, and that is the reason why we actually discriminate people like me. We also have a culture of art and art related matters when it comes to the transgender people. So a lot of people, when men were not allowed to perform into theaters, the transgender people were performing as a female artist, and they were very much celebrated. Still you call it as the father of Lata Mangeshkar, which is Bal Gandharva. Throughout the life, he cross-dressed and he performed into a theatrics. So cross-dressing was not a big taboo. Now it has become a taboo because we have forgotten our culture completely. If I have to tell you, when did Mahabharata stop? Who is the real hero of a Mahabharata? Somebody will say Arjun, somebody will say some other person, but the real hero of Mahabharata is actually Shikhandi. If that person wouldn't have stand between the Arjuna and Bhishma, that war wouldn't have stopped. That war would have been continued. Imagine the prominence that has been given into the stories also about the transgender community. When the Arjun wanted to hide himself, he became a Brihannala. Now this Brihannala was not begging on the street. This Brihannala was a guru, a dance guru in the royal culture. So what I'm trying to help you understand that we don't teach this to our children. What we teach is a hatred. What we teach to our children is silence. What we teach our children is basically how we can discriminate each other. Now we have gone a long way. 1860, when the Britishers came, they imposed the first law on the transgender people, which is called as a Tribal Act, and Section 377, under which LGBTI community, transgender community was discriminated. They were thrown out from the society. Their money was looted. Their status was looted. And throughout the 70 years of independence, India, when they were trying to become who they want to become, transgender people were silently living in a small outskirts of the society. They were never given a prominence in a life. No, I realized that when people started suppressing me so much for my gender, I realized that I cannot be silent anymore. I'm a beautiful woman, and come what may, I'm going to transform into that one. And I'm going to be beautiful, I'm going to be attractive, and at the same time, I'm going to be very much influential to other people, because my gender should not stop me to become who I want to be. Today, if a person who's selling a chaiwala can become a prime minister, a person begging on a signal can also become a president. No, nothing wrong with that, right? So we can always have a better future and better fascinations. Now, what you need to know about it, that transition, lot of people feel that only from a male bodies to female bodies, but that's not true. The people who transition from male bodies to the female bodies are called as trans women, like me. But there are also females who transition from the female bodies to male bodies. They are called as trans men. They identify themselves as a trans. So it's a big community, but a lot of people don't know about it. Now, what has happened that lot of transgender people have pushed the boundaries like me. They have come out and they have accepted. Now, what I realized is that the biggest thing, the strength that came to my way was my mother's acceptance. So if the families can accept their transgender people, they can really put to highest potential. Today I have worked on the international platforms. I was a chair of Asia Pacific Transgender Network. I started International Trans Platform, the first dancing group called as the Dancing Queen of India. I post-graduated myself despite of being who I am, and I pushed my boundaries to be who I want to be. But a lot of transgender people don't get that kind of a facility. And the reason why they don't get that kind of facility is because they lack with the support at the educational system, at the family system, at the social system, and what they require is not equality. What they require is equity. What is the difference between equality and equity? Equality means everybody standing on the same ground. But equity is somewhere, if a person is shorter, we have to give him some elevation to become part of that, right? 2014, we fought, and the government of India accepted, and the Supreme Court came up with the first transgender act and the first transgender law called as the Nalsa judgment, under which the Supreme Court of India said there are no two genders, but there are three genders: male, female, and third gender. And at the same time, we worked with the government of India, and 2019, the government of India came up with something called as the Right of Transgender Protection Act. What you see is an immense personalities here that has pushed these boundaries, that has silenced the fear, that has silenced the discrimination, and that has silenced the opinions that were restricting them to become who they want to be. We have Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi, who is a very big prominent celebrity. We have Padma Shri, Nartika Natraj, who has done excellent work in Bharatnatyam. We have Majamma, who's a Jokti and who's done a fantastic contributions. Again, Padma Shri in folk theatre. We have Zainab Patel, who's doing a fantastic job in corporate sector. We have a trans man who transitioned from female body to male body and become a first athlete or the powerful bodybuilder. And we have a Dr. Aksa also, who's a transgender person, who has become a medical doctor and working in Delhi right now. So what has turned the silence to the spotlight? I think the one thing that really helped me to change my silence into spotlight was the strong support of my mother. And I think all you teachers, all you principals, everybody who's come from, your friends also, if you just provide support, these people, transgender people like me, can reach to the fullest potential. Lastly, I just want to sing one line for you in a very succinct manner, which you all know about it, that, हम बहुत गर्व से बोलते हैं, बट हम ये आचरण नहीं करते, और वो सिंपल लाइन है, अगर आप कभी भी लो फील करोगे तो आप गाइएगा ज़रूर, और वो लाइन है, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन, हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. धन्यवाद.